Okay, so earlier on your Herefordshire, we announced the news that John and Jean Rone were celebrating 60 years of marriage, and here we are in the Saracen's Head with the pair of them as they celebrate 60 years of wedded bliss. So John, what's the key to 60 years of being married?
Well, it's a hell of a question, and it's going to be a difficult answer. I think you've got to think about life. When you start married life, it's a joke. Everything goes simple. Everything is it's silly, it's childish, but it doesn't become reality until you get a family. When you've got the family, then reality steps in. And you suddenly realise what you had, you haven't got any more. You haven't got the freedom to go and come as you wish, because you suddenly realise you've got a wife, you've got children, you've got responsibilities. And I think if you carry that on through life, which I've tried to, I think that's what's made my marriage a long and happy one.
Moving on to Jean, so do you remember the day, the wedding day? What was the weather like? What was the day like?
The day was beautiful, like it is at the moment, really sunny. There was a wedding before us, and so we had the remainder of their bells as they came into church for us to go in. It was a lovely day, yes. It passed in a blur, really, you know. All I can remember is somebody said to me afterwards, he knelt down at that to have the blessing, and he'd still got the price tag of the shoe, how much his shoes had cost him on the bottom.
Yeah. So John, how's the world changed in 60 years? You know, 1965 was the year before England won the World Cup.
The world has changed a lot. When I got married, for instance, my first home, I bought it when I was 21 years old. I paid, I'm talking about being in Essex, where houses, young people didn't buy their own houses then. Because of my job, which I will tell you in a minute, because of my job I earned quite good money. And my wife and I, we saved, well, my girlfriend said, we saved. To get a house then, my first house cost me £1,000, which was 4 cottages. We paid that, bought them, we did them up prior to getting married. One way or another, beg, borrow and steal. I had some wonderful friends, other subcontractors who helped me. Alan Reason, who went on to be one of Britain's biggest builders, he helped me. And indeed, I was his hod carrier when we were working. But to say that the world has changed since we've been married is so. Now, a house is unachievable. When I was young, it was achievable.
It's changed massively in those 60 years, because what's the house in Hereford, 250, 300 grand average, and that's a lot of money.
Well, I can give you an example of something that in the last 20 years, I built a bungalow at the Callow in Hereford, at Crossenham Farm, and I sold that bungalow for a little over £150,000. It is now worth something close to £800,000. This is just how property has gone, and it's very, very difficult and very hard for people today, and it's really wrong. But there's nothing that my generation can do about it.
So Jean, what's the plans for the rest of the day?
Well, a couple of drinks here, and then home, and more friends coming to visit us and have little nibbles and that sort of thing. And then I expect an early night. I'm tired, it's been a long day.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to the pair of you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.